Welcome to our HopeFM Candidate Forum. My name is Ricky. I'm the Outreach Director here and afternoon host of Hope on the Go. This is an impartial forum. As our station doesn't accept any political advertising, we don't endorse any parties or candidates. It's our goal today to give you, the voter, the chance to get to know these candidates better. The primary election's on the 20th of August, and we always encourage our listeners to vote, but especially because many of our local races will be determined in August and then the others in November. For Putnam County Supervisor, our Superintendent of Schools, this is a Republican primary, and we have two candidates, the current Superintendent, Rick Surrency, and Paul Adamczyk. In the primary, Republicans can vote for one of these, and then the winner will advance to the general election in November since there is a write-in candidate. Thank you both for being here today. You'll each have 1 minute to answer a question, and we'll alternate who goes first with each question. And a timer will let you know when your minute is over and to end your answer. We'll begin with the current superintendent, Rick Surrency. Rick, would you please tell us about yourself, your family, your work, your community involvement?
Thank you, Ricky, and thanks to HopeFM for hosting this. And I'm Rick Surrency. I'm the current superintendent of schools. I've been superintendent since 2016. And actually, I've been in education since 1978, so I'm actually in my 46th year of education. Been a teacher, teacher assistant, a coach, an assistant principal, and then a principal for the last 10 years before I became superintendent. But my wife and I, Penny, have 6 children together, and we have a total of 10 grandchildren. So we've been very blessed, and we're both very active in the community. I actually I'm a member of First Baptist Church here in Palatka, have been since I moved to Putnam County in the mid-'80s, and involved in the Azalea City Kiwanis, also serve on the board of the ARC of Putnam County. So I'm a firm believer in community involvement and just being active in our community and investing in the places that we live.
All right, Mr. Paul Adamczyk, same question. Would you please tell us about yourself, your family, your work, your community
my name is Paul
involvement?
Adamczyk, and I'm vying for your vote for Superintendent of Schools for Putnam County. I'm a father of 5 children, Hope, Grace, Jacob, Grant, and Paul. Hope is a graduate of Palatka High School in 2020, where thankfully she graduated a year early, so that was a great job on her part. Work environment, I've been working for the same company for the past 27 years after I left the Navy in 1997. Worked for EMC Corporation. We merged with another company, and I'm still working there today. As many of you know, I am an active county commissioner today as well in the county, and I am the youth director at Woodlawn Baptist Church as well. As far as community involvement, my job as youth director at Woodlawn Baptist takes up a lot of my community involvement, but I'm also a member of the Palatka Kiwanis, which there's 2 Kiwanises in Palatka, which confuses some people. And I'm also on the North Florida Regional Trust and Council.
All right, thank you, Paul. For our next question, we're going to start with you, Paul. And why do you want to be a superintendent?
Yeah, so when I was considering rerunning for my commission seat, I actually filed to run for the commission seat, and I took a step back, and my wife and I, through prayer, decided that we were led to do something different here in the community. And I've always been student-oriented and had a goal of helping students and children in our community as best as I could. And through that prayer, I was led to the idea that we should be making some dramatic changes in our school district to allow us to move forward. And I feel that I was the right guy for that job. And I felt led to basically change up what I was running for and to run for superintendent of schools to try to make changes to benefit our children of our community as well as our citizens. I think the school district is the place where we can make the most gain for our community through change.
Thank you. Rick, same question. Why do you want to be or continue to be our superintendent?
Yeah, I've actually, again, over the past 8 years, we put a lot of systems in place and a lot of initiatives, specifically working with our school board and our community. We actually developed a very forward-thinking strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan that lists a lot of goals and objectives for our district that focuses on a number of things, our employees, our students, our facilities. So we strategically work every year to try to achieve these goals, and we revisit them every year. And also, we developed a 10-year revitalization plan, which involves really the combining of schools and actually the building of new schools. And the plan calls for building 9 new schools over the next 10 years. And we actually are in the process of building 3 of these schools currently. So again, I want to continue that progress as I move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Surrency. Mr. Surrency, we're going to start with you with this question. What experience do you have that you feel qualifies you to fulfill the duties of this office?
Well, again, I mentioned, I'm in my 46th year of education. And again, this is a very intense job educationally. Of course, it involves being a leader. And of course, I have my doctorate in educational leadership, and I've worked in a number of schools in this county. I've worked in another county, in Alachua County, before I came here. But again, I understand what goes on in the classroom, and I understand what the teachers need. And, I think it's vital that I have that background to understand them and be able to relate to them and know the workings of a school. And also, I have experience just by virtue of my position working with other superintendents outside of my district. And I've been in a number of other states and met with other superintendents from other states and have learned a lot from them. So I have a vast experience that I think will serve our district well.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Paul, same question. What experience do you have that you feel qualifies you to fulfill the duties of this office?
State statute outlines the superintendent's office as being the CEO and secretary of the district. So I think my corporate experience as an executive with basically two different divisions, which was training and development for EMC Corporation from 2001 to 2007, and then now with Dell Corporation doing a similar job but around AI and machine learning. So I feel like that interaction is what prepares me best for this from an executive perspective. From a student perspective, I've been involved with students the entirety of my entire life, adult life. I've been coaching students, I've been mentoring, I've been tutoring, and then I also have taken on the responsibility as youth director at my church, which involves teaching children about Jesus, about the God, about the Bible. So that's all important things that we need to take into account when we're talking about our experience.
Thank you, Mr. Adamczyk. Paul, we're going to start with you with this question. How do you feel you would make improvements to our district by being elected to this position?
I think the key 3 things from a perspective of low-hanging fruit that I think we can make the most gains in quickest is attendance. So right now we're ranked last in the state with chronic absenteeism. So we need to absolutely focus on that. So we're going to do that in 2 ways. We're going to do it through policy and procedure, but we also have to make it so that children want to come to school. So they want to have, from an early age, from the earliest age, going from kindergarten to 3rd grade, that they have a desire to be there in the classroom. That leads into the second item, which is 3rd grade proficiency in reading and mathematics. The way that we get that done, because we're ranked very low in the state, in the bottom 10% in that area as well, is we basically have to get the kids enthused about education. We need to present it at the earliest stages, and we have to start presenting things in a way that isn't about the test. It's about mastery of the skills. The third item is we need to become fiscally responsible. I don't feel that the current superintendent and the staff has been fiscally responsible with our taxpayers' money, and our finances have ballooned dramatically in his tenure.
Well, thank you, Paul. Mr. Surrency, how do you feel you've made improvements to our district by your service in this position so far?
Thank you, Ricky. When I took office in 2015, we had one of the lowest graduation rates in the entire state. And we've had, since I've been in, through developing some systematic changes, we've increased our graduation rate from 54.5% or 54.9 to 92.5, the highest. And that's the highest increase in the entire state of Florida. We turned around schools. We had 11 of 18 schools in state turnaround, and today we have 0 schools in turnaround. We've expanded our career and technical education and our acceleration programs district-wide. We continue to improve our student achievement data, and we look at every year as an opportunity to improve as we continue to move forward. And then finally, we have just received word that we are the first district in the entire nation to achieve STEM accreditation through the Cognia Foundation. So we're continuing to improve opportunities for kids.
Thank you, Rick. Now we're going to start with you for this question. As you've been out campaigning, what have been the areas of concern from the voters that you've talked to?
Well, we've actually done some polling and, some phone polling, and actually we found out that one thing that people want in this position is somebody who has that experience, who have been in the trenches, who knows what it's like to be a superintendent and continue the work. But some other concerns that I've been told is, making sure, especially since the pandemic, is being able to engage our students in learning and meeting their specific needs, individual needs. Every student has specific needs that we need to look at. And we do that by offering different options through our career and technical education programs or acceleration programs. And we really try to hone in what makes them tick, where they want to come to school to be successful. And finally, focusing on student safety. We've done that with our Guardian program and hardening of our schools, and also improving our school culture.
Thank you, Mr. Surrency. Mr. Adamczyk, the same questions. You've been out campaigning. What have been the areas of concern from the voters that you've talked to?
From parents and grandparents and people that have children in the school district, the main concerns that I've heard about is discipline. They feel like there's a lack of discipline and appropriate behavior in the classrooms. Another item that's been a big key thing is security. There's many concerns in West Putnam with teachers, with students, with parents around the fact that there isn't a resource officer in every school. So how are we picking and choosing which schools deserve the same level of security as the other schools? That's been a big thing. When I talk to teachers, their biggest concern, again, is around discipline, is how are they getting, they want to know how I'm going to help them get the resources they need to help them when they have a child who's acting out in a way that's disruptive to their class. School bus drivers, the same type of scenario. They're looking for ways that they can alleviate that discipline issue and get the kids safely to school without having the distractions while they're on the bus, and as well as the number of bus drivers that we have.
Well, thank you, Mr. Adamczyk. Paul, we're going to start with you on this one. If elected, what are your top 3 priorities for the district?
We've kind of covered that a little bit in the earlier question, but the top 3 priorities are increasing our academic achievement, especially from the pre-K to 3rd grade level. And we need to focus on that so that we can have all of our children have the foundation for their future education. We need to make sure we have a balanced security system throughout the district so all children feel safe, all staff members feel equally safe. And we need to take care of the discipline issues in a way that removes the children from the classroom until such time that they're ready to come back into the classroom when they're actually being disruptive to the learning of all the rest of the children in the classroom.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Rick, same question. If reelected, what are your top 3 priorities for the district?
Well, number one, it has been and will continue to be student and staff safety. And even going back to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas incident, myself and the sheriff have worked very closely to, create a system where our students are safer than they've ever been, and we've had to make a lot of changes in our facilities to do that as well. But that's an ongoing process. Teacher recruitment and retention, nationwide, that is a concern, and we've actually implemented some very innovative programs over the last several years to grow our own. And also, once we hire teachers, especially new teachers, to be able to offer them mentors, full-time mentors, to help them be successful. We've actually increased our retention rates from 65% to 93% since 2017. And again, there's always a focus to continue to improve student outcomes just by giving students relevant programming and opportunities so they can be successful individually.
Well, thank you, Rick. Mr. Surrency, we're going to begin with you on this question. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing our district?
Well, it's like every district, especially coming out of the ESSER funding from the pandemic, is making sure we use our resources that we have to meet the needs of each individual student. And again, we have to make priorities. Some we can't do it all. We have to really focus on where can we put the priorities that will give us a return on our investment. So it's an ever-changing process, especially right now while we're in the budget portion of our year. We're looking at where can we focus those resources based on data to give us the best bang for our buck. And we look at the student achievement data throughout the year, focus a lot of our coaching with teachers and developing those best practices so that teachers can be successful, and allow those teachers to continue to collaborate and provide quality professional development so the students' outcomes can increase.
Thank you, Mr. Surrency. Mr. Adamczyk, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing our district right now?
The biggest challenge facing our district today is student achievement. We're not giving the students what they need to be successful. 60% of the kids are being left behind every year. So the way that we remedy this is we basically have to find a way to get off the bottom of the pay scales for our teachers. So we need to get up to 5 to 10% above that so that we can actually recruit instead of recruiting what's left over after districts that are already paying the teachers at a competitive rate. We're getting teachers that are coming in and excited to come here based on the fact that they have the pay and the resources they need to be successful. The other ways that we got to do this is we have to make sure that the curriculum is something that is attractive to the student. The student has to be interested in what they're doing and interested in coming to school and wanting to attend. And we have a huge hole in attendance in our district, and we need to find a way at the earliest stages to make children love education again.
Thank you, Paul. Gentlemen, this is a faith-based ministry here and a Christian radio station, and so we're going to start with you again, Paul. What role does your faith play in your decisions?
My faith is the driving force in everything that I do in my life, and I fail at that at times as a sinner, and everything that I do is based on my faith and through prayer and through my love of Jesus Christ, our Savior and our God. Biblically, we're tasked with being a voice for God in everything that we do. And that's not just picking and choosing based on what government says or what people say. We're required to do that in everything we do in our lives. And I try to do that in everything that I do. And I don't know how else to put it, but I pray daily for the district today. I pray daily for myself, for my family, for this community. And that's how I choose to lead, and that's how I choose to live my life. And regardless of how this race outcome comes, I'm going to continue to pray for this district and the community.
Thank you, Mr. Adamczyk. Mr. Surrency, same question. This is a Christian radio station. What role does your faith have in your decisions?
Yeah, and thank you for asking that, Ricky. And, first of all, I look at, being in education as a calling and as a ministry for me. And, one of the greatest rewards I get is to see, the opportunity for students to be successful, to have a fulfilling life, and to show my faith and to show that there's a power stronger than me and stronger than all of us who guide us. And I feel that everything we do is to achieve that ultimate goal of honoring Jesus Christ. And so I think that, everything I have done, I've done with the support of my God, and I'm doing it for the betterment of the community. So again, I'm His instrument, and I continue to stay connected through our community, through my church, and I gained a lot of strength through worship with my fellow Christians. And but education is truly a calling that I feel led to do.
Thank you, Rick. Rick, Mr. Surrency, we're going to start with you on this question. Are there any other areas you feel that need or should be addressed that we haven't covered?
When I took office in 2016, our district had a very negative perception in the community and around the state. And I think one thing that I've done since that time is to bring quality people to our district, have quality leadership. As a matter of fact, I'll just have to say that this past year we had the assistant principal for the entire state of Florida named. And back in 2020, we had the principal of the year for the entire state of Florida. And then I was named the Superintendent of the Year for the state of Florida in 2023. And I don't say that to boast. I say that because we have many people working together, especially around me. And I think it's just symbolic of the fact that we look at the school district of Putnam County as a quality place to educate our children. And we have quality people working in our district. And I think not only do we recognize that, the entire state recognizes that.
Thank you, Mr. Surrency. Mr. Adamczyk, same question. Are there any other areas that you feel should be addressed that we haven't covered here today?
Yeah, so as we know in the world that perception doesn't become reality just because you say it. So we can do all the media blitzes we want saying that we're achieving things, and when you're not achieving it, it's just something we have to do. We have to figure out a way to get student achievement up, to be competitive with the rest of the state, as well as with the new school choice laws. We need to be competitive with those school choices that are available in our community. If we're not going to do that, the district is going to go to the wayside, because there's going to be more people standing up school choice alternatives. And if we can't compete with those alternatives, we're just going to be bleeding students, bleeding finances, and we're not going to be able to sustain a district in the way that we know it today. So we have to focus on being able to achieve that, to achieve excellence in our schools, and to be able to show that we are different and we set ourselves as part and as the favorable alternative for education in the Putnam County.
Thank you, Mr. Adamczyk. Gentlemen, this is a chance to pitch yourself. Why should people vote for you? We're going to start with Paul, and why don't you give your website, media, and other contact information if you would.
Yeah, so I'm Paul Adamczyk, and my Facebook page is Paul Adamczyk for Superintendent of Schools, Paul Adamczyk Republican for Superintendent of Schools. My phone number is 352-642-3332. That has been my public phone number for the entirety of my political career in my life. I make that available to everyone. And my email address is paul4putnam@gmail.com. Again, I will keep that email for the entirety of my life for as long as I live in Putnam County, which should be until I'm buried in the ground. God bless everyone, and thank you for hosting us today.
Thank you, Mr. Adamczyk. Rick, Mr. Surrency, why should people vote for you? And I encourage you to give your website, social media information, other contact.
Sure. Again, the reason people should vote for me is I'm a proven leader. I'm an educator. I'm not a politician, and I'm here to serve our students, and have for almost 50 years. And you can actually go to my website and find out more information. It's at superintendentsurrency.com, and also my Facebook page is Rick Surrency for Superintendent, and we have a number of items there you can look at. And I also want to remind folks that because this is a closed primary, if you are not a Republican, if you're a Democrat or a no party affiliate, you do have until July 22nd if you want to change your party to vote in this primary, because right now only Republicans can vote. And I would encourage you to do that. You can change your party back. You know, we've had, I understand, over 300 people who have become Republicans in just the last couple of weeks. Now, whether they changed or not, I think people are very energized to vote in this election and some of the other elections. So thank you again for having us today.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both for participating in this forum. And this has been a public service of 91.3 Hope FM. And we'll provide the recordings of this and many other forums online for voter information, and candidates are welcome to share them on your own social pages. As a reminder, the primary election's on August 20th. Early voting opportunities are August 5th and the 17th. If you have any questions about voting at all, please contact the Supervisor of Elections office at 386-329-0224 or visit their website for detailed information at soe.putnam-fl.com. Thank you for watching today, and God bless you.